Good evening. A very warm welcome to everyone joining us tonight. I'm Nilanjana Dash, your host for this informative session organized by SEMS Welfare Foundation under the DG Samaksh initiative. Tonight's topic, strategic merger and acquisition, is a critical subject that shapes the landscape of modern business and corporate growth. SEMS Welfare Foundation, a registered nonprofit organization, is dedicated to social impact across various sectors. We focus on education, particularly skill development and entrepreneurship through our initiative DG Saksham. We have created training programs in IT, finance, retail, and entrepreneurship, impacting over 6,000 individuals. We are currently upscaling inmates in Haryana jails and collaborating with universities and colleges. We have also partnered with banks to place over 1,500 candidates in jobs. In just a short time, SEMS has established itself as a force for positive change, equipping individuals with skills for employment and promoting women's leadership in various industries. This session is collaboratively organized with DG Samaksh. DG Samaksh is a company that empowers business through data technology. We offer a wide range of service, including IT software, data science, research, consultancy, data analytics, and marketing. Strategic merger and acquisition are complex transactions that involves combining companies or buying out assets to achieve strategic goals like market expansion, resource synergy, or competitive advantage. Tonight's sessions will delve into the strategic rationale, legal framework, and human capital challenges involved in successful merger and acquisition deals. Understanding how this monumental corporate decision drives business value and transform industries. We are absolutely delighted to have with us tonight Ms. Akshaya Gayathri Rao, a distinguished and multi-talented professional. Ms. Rao brings a wealth of knowledge to the topic as a strategic people manager, human resource and law enthusiast, policy research enthusiast, tech enthusiast, social activist, speaker, and mental health advocate. Her diverse background in corporate strategy, legal framework, human capital makes her the ideal valuable insights on the strategic and ethical dimensions of merger and acquisition. Without taking much time, let's warmly welcome Ms. Akshaya Gayathri Rao to lead us through tonight's session on strategic merger and acquisition. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi, Niranjana. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And thank you so much for the people who are all being here. And thank you so
Welcome,
much
ma'am.
And thank you so much for the people who are being here and taking their time to discuss and get to know more about mergers and acquisitions. The topic being more nerdy, and as Friday evening is definitely after the discussion, you will feel it's a good worth of the time. And can we proceed with the stuff? If all are fine with it, we can go ahead with the discussion. Can we move ahead, Niranjana?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
If my voice is audible, if it is getting low, please let me know. And before that, I am Akshaya Gayathri. And I would like to know more about the people who are all being here, so I could focus the discussion on that and make the session a little more interactive than just being a presentation. So I would like to know a little bit about you who are all being here in the meeting, about where are you from and what interests you with mergers and acquisition, what made you to be here with mergers and acquisition. So we could focus more on that. So please take a minute to put it in the chat box so I can also know. And hello, Alam, and thank you so much. Can you all please take a minute to put it in the chat box to introduce yourself over there? So that's to make this session a little bit interactive. So in that time, I'll just go ahead with the introduction of mergers and acquisitions. So mergers and acquisitions are strategic moves where companies combine or acquire to enhance the market share, the technology, or graphic reach. Understanding the multi-faced aspect, including the legal framework, human resources, technical integration, market dynamics are essential for the successful execution and value creation. And in this evolving corporate landscape. Good evening, all. If there is anything, if you want to say something, you can put it in the chat box so I could reply there. Hello, Vala, you can also put it in the chat box. And going ahead, understanding the difference between mergers and acquisitions. A merger is like two friends deciding to live together in a shared household and share everything equally. Like two roommates are sharing things, like they will have their own space, and one more friend is having their own space, but they will share everything equally with water, current, or table share, whatever in the household. So we can say that as a merger. And an acquisition is like one friend moving to another's house where owner runs the home. So the owner still being the same. It's like inviting one more person. So merger means two companies join together to form one new company, and then acquisition means one company buys another company. If A company decide and B company decide, both decide, and they will make a new company called AB, which is there in the example, which is that is a merger. And if B company wants to get along with A company, and the company A will be A only, there is no any other changes, but still there will be the collaboration between A and B still. So that is acquisition. So these two are being one of the great factors which is inside the corporate arena, where you can often hear Vodafone and Aircel and Vodafone merger, and Idea and Vodafone merger, and many other mergers. Like some supermarket is merged with some other supermarket. Those kind of discussion. Sony company is acquired some other company. You used to hear that, and this is one of the examples in a generic term about mergers and acquisitions. And going ahead, why company do this? So mergers and acquisitions are happening because the companies wants to go faster. So let's assume I am starting from the step 1 and one more company is in step 5. If as the company I want to reach step 5, it will take some reasonable time and reasonable effort to go to step 5. It's like I am going to a person who has already reached up to an extent and getting merged, and I myself can consider myself in being as a member of step 5, which is we can make sure the company grows faster and we can enter into new market and we can reduce the competition. Let's say there are only 2-3 companies in our famous example. When Jio was launched, there is Airtel, Aircel, Vodafone, all of those were there, and Aircel became insolvent and it got dissolved, and Vodafone and Idea both were there. And what did they do to increase their customer width, to increase their profits? They both got into a merger called Vodafone Idea, and their competition got reduced. So in the market only two companies are more. The private sector telecom companies are just two, apart from BSNL and MSNL, which is Vodafone Idea, and another big player is Airtel, and another big player is Jio. So instead of having 5-6 companies, so it got reduced. So in the eyes of Vodafone Idea, there are only 4 companies as their competition. Before it was 5. So likewise, it's reduced the competition. So companies will grow faster, they can get into new markets, they will reduce the competition, and they have to share the resources like technology. Let's assume I am a pharmaceutical company who is having a formula with me, but I don't have any production unit. If I'm acquiring or having a merger or acquisition, whatever, or I am getting acquired. So in that sense, as the company who is a pharmaceutical company having the formula, I can also now produce. The production company which is being acquired or already acquired by myself will produce the medicines now. So I don't want to buy a new set of people. I don't want to hire a new set of people. I don't want to check all their backgrounds. I don't want to check whether they are authentic or not. I don't want to worry about their effort, how I don't want to think anything, the markets, funds, I don't want to think any of it. And it's not hard to get into a market of the target. If I'm a new company, if I'm just having the formula, if I want to start a new company, then the process will be little tough. So now, as the company which is already there in the market, they are giving us the hand. Now we both can join together, share the resources, and we'll grow big. So that's the main reason of mergers and acquisition. And what are all the aspects of mergers and acquisitions to be considered? So when we are considering a mergers and acquisition, let's assume I have a startup. One more people many members are having a startup. So I want to consider mergers or acquisitions. Now, so how we can find a company which I can buy, whether I could buy or whether I will get profit out of it or not, whether I will grow bigger or not, whatever. So I need to consider some few aspects which is listed in the screen. So which is financial aspects, whether I'll get profit or not, what is the profit sharing ratio, all of that. And legal aspects. What are all the things that we need to consider legally to consider mergers and acquisitions? And third point are strategic aspects. How we are going to proceed further? What is the relationship between? And the marketing aspects. How we are going to plan ahead in the sense of marketing. And what are all the human resources aspects? We will be having two CHROs, two CEOs, two members. So how they are going to be. So that is one of the concerns. Who is going to be there in the level who can take the business ahead. We need to discuss, we are discussing that aspect. And ahead, what are all the aspects market wise? So what is going to happen brand wise? So all of those are considered as a part of mergers and acquisition. Is if there is any other questions, so I would like to have it in the chat box. Let's take a break of a minute over there. I'll just mute myself. If there is anything that you would like to ask here, I would like to hear from your side. So, why mergers and acquisitions are important according to you? Or is there is anybody here is planning for a merger or acquisition? I would like to know that. I'll mute myself for a minute. If there is any possibility to know what interests you over here, and are anybody here is planning for a merger and acquisition? I would like to know a little bit over here to make the session a little bit interactive. May I go on, ma'am? My name is Mohammed. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. The thing is, ma'am, sorry about the camera thing. Let's be interactive about this merger and yes, every part in part together, because as a plus point, companies are merging, cultures are merging, leaderships are also merging. Kind of things that are not to be agreed upon by all the members, all the leaders, all members. So, in the talent part, the company may take a little stick. Then acquisition, ma'am. In acquisition, filings are done on the basis of bringing in new talent in the name of new talent, about 10 and leaders that were already being recognized in a company, but mindset over. And so these are blind spots. Yes. That's what you to manage over. I understood your question. Can you also type it in the chat box? People who have joined a little later, so they can also have a view about your question. We can discuss it ahead. Can you also put it in the chat box, please? So, as discussed, we have many aspects which is to consider mergers and acquisitions, as he has said. Is the screen is visible? I would like to have it in the chat box, please. Is that possible to have it in the chat box? Okay, right. We'll discuss it ahead until he's typing. So we have many aspects to be considered. First one being the financial aspects. As finance being the basic need of every company, because companies used to run on the basis of profit. So companies used to do business for the purpose of profit. So financial aspects used to be the basic necessity for mergers and acquisitions consideration. Here we need to check the value of both the companies to consider the financial aspect. So value of both the companies, what they have, the asset, what are all their debts, what are all their profit. We need to know that. And second one, as it's acquiring or merging, there is a remuneration for the company which is coming inside. It's literally a selling of their company to a new management, which means the price offered should be fair. And third one, it is like how how the funds will be dealt. So is that as a cash compensation or a share compensation or loan compensation? So all of that is considered. For example, before buying another company, you will check the worth of what you are paying. So we'll just literally check the worth. If we are buying a pen, if you are buying a notebook, if you are buying a house, we will check whether the money what we are paying is worth or not. So it's like literally checking the financial aspect, means checking the worth for what we are paying. And then the second aspect is legal aspects. So we will have many legal aspects to be considered, because all companies were managed and regulated by Companies Act. Company Law 2013 is regulating here in India. And there are many competition laws and taxation laws, many GST, CGST, octroi duty, many things are there where a company is having in day-to-day affairs. So first we need to review all the contracts, license and pending cases on the company which is getting merged or acquired. As a company A, I want to get into one more company, or else I am interested in buying one more company. I'm a company A. We can, throughout the session, we can have an example of having this mouse. So in the computer, we are having a mouse. So here in this mouse, we can say, I was looking for a company which can help me to increase my market value. I was looking for a company which is helping me to increase my public dominance. So in that sense, we want to check whether the intellectual property, which is a property, the asset which can't be seen, which is in mind, which is intellectual property. For this mouse, computer mouse, the design, the sleek quality, the buttons, every single design is an intellectual property. And the people who are giving the components, so they are being the suppliers. So the contracts between the suppliers, we are giving our design to them to produce the components for our final product. So those contracts, agreements, is if the contracts were good, if the assets were good, if the rights and duties were are protected, and what are all the key contracts as a share purchaser. So as a company, where it will be a public limited company or a private limited company. Maximum. The public limited company or a private limited company, in the sense they are going to have a share, maybe listed or not listed. Still, it's not mandatory that both the companies should be private, both the companies should be public and all. Any company can acquire anything. So we need to discuss those type of negotiation. Both the companies will have proprietors, both the company will have separate prospectus. They will both have the mission and vision where they need to reach. So those should be managed. And the contractual framework preventing the disputes in future. Let's assume I have a contract with government of India to produce mouse and share it with the government employees. And one more company which is having the contract to make a mouse and share it with the another state government, and that is getting extended to a central government. So there will be a transaction, there will be a dispute, there could be a dispute, because both the people are aiming for a certain type of market, certain type of customer. In that sense, what are all the possibilities that we can take? What are all the things we can take to secure our assets post the transaction of mergers and acquisition? Who is going to be the final say for all the business matters and legal matters regarding the safeguarding the brand of the brand? So that is being the one of the major concerns. And the third part is the strategic aspects. Strategic aspects as is nothing but our main ambition of the company. Every company will have their goals, their separate goals. It's not mandatory that me and my friend studying the same course will have the same idea of getting into a business. There, it differs from every person to person. Likewise, the company as well. The company goals, even if it is not matching, it should not be in a conflict, and it should understand how it helps in each other's growth, market share, and product range. And to avoid those kind of conflicts, these are all the aspects we need to make sure in the first place, but to decide whether to move ahead with the merger or the acquisition, whether don't want to move ahead with any of this. For an example, HP company buying a Lenovo company will make sense, but not Toyota company, because HP company here and Lenovo company both will produce mouse, but not Toyota company which is producing cars, and it doesn't make sense. Their market is different, their product is different, and it's totally not compatible, no? And the main aspects we need to discuss is human resource aspects, which is my domain, and a little bit deep into it. Human resource aspects, which is like decide what happens to employees and the management, and how to manage the cultural differences between two companies, and how to plan to retain key talent after the merger. Let's assume an academy is there, Akash classes were also there. Both are having the people to teach social science classes. What will happen if both the companies are merged? And what is the cultural differences? The other employees of the company, let's assume the people who are behind the screen, which is maybe the admin department or a support department, IT department. Let's assume they are having a separate apps to run. So what will happen to that? And what happened to the IT professional which is working on the apps of Akash classes and an academy, and how they are going to be retained. So that was going to be one of the main point, because every company does have people who are working in the separate department. When it is being merged, we need to face with two directors, two VPs, two SVPs, two product heads, two product leads, two decision makers, two separate department, everything. Literally two into two. So it's like when two office merge, there are some jobs overlap. So this HR planning will be a little bit crucial to decide which comes first. And this is one of the main problem which is seen in mergers and acquisitions, where HR prospects, people aspects are more into the emotional bonding related to the company. People used to say, I am being in this company for more than 25 years. So Lakshmi Vilas Bank is acquired by another bank. So people will say, I am being here in this bank for more than 20 years. None now. It's when you are being with some company very well satisfied, and at one certain point of time that will become your identity. So it's emotional aspect also. We can also say it's a psychological aspect also. So these kind of things to be decided, and it should not be one of the reasons to become the failure of mergers and acquisition. So the successful merger and acquisition requires the careful management of workforce integration, aligning the compensation, benefits, and leadership. So till now, we have seen the psychological aspects. Now it is about aligning the compensation. Let's assume the director of one company was earning some 30 lakhs, and one more company is giving 40 lakhs, and both the companies are getting merged. So how the merger is going to affect their salary part also, their benefits part also. One company will give parental coverage insurance, and one more company doesn't. The merged company will have a certain set of new members. Let's assume the company which is giving less compensation is buying a new company, another company which is acquiring another company. And how it's going to work? People who are used to more benefits, and we can't just reduce it on the, and the people who are already with us, they will raise the question that the new company which is acquired, they are having more benefits and I don't. So those kind of things will raise the conflict, and it will affect the employee morale also. So it's essential to maintain the morale and the talent retention. So the Tata Steel's acquisition of Chorus, it's being a great example for mergers and acquisition in the people point of view, where it highlights and challenge the strategies of effective HR alignment during the large scale merger. When it is up to 4-5 members, we can manage something. If it is up to 10,000, 15,000 people, 40,000 people, Infosys and Dell companies, both are big companies. When it is merged, 50,000 already. So how it's going to merge, how it's going to affect, that is being one of the main concerns. And getting ahead, market and customer as. So I am the person who is following, I'm very brand devoted person. I will say I will only go ahead with one set of product. Let's say I am only towards HP product, I'm only with Realme product, I'm only with some other Micromax or something. So in that sense, how we are going to manage the marketing and the customer, how we can retain the customer trust and the brand. So there are many reasons for mergers and acquisitions. One company could be the failing company, and one more company could be doing well. It's not necessary to be same every time, but there are chances. This is one of the reasons for two companies coming together. So in that sense, how we can manage the customer trust and brand. I'm totally against with one type of products. Let's assume I had one my first phone, and I liked it so much. I was having it for more than 5 years and it worked well. And I bought my second phone and it did work well. It was creating issues within an year. So I'm more towards my brand one than brand two. I was being the customer very well satisfied with the brand one. And if I'm buying, I'm keeping on buying the same product for longer. Now, the company which is the first company, the brand one and brand two, both are being merged. How I will feel, how I am going to take it. I will say it was good before, but it's not good after. That kind of things will affect the merger and acquisition, and it will make the merger and acquisition a failure or unhealthy. So, how we are going to inform clearly about any challenge or the changes towards this brand integration. So, company merging is not just company merging, it's a brand integration. So, how we are going to inform it clearly to our customer base, and how we will ensure our pricing, the services, and products are remaining stable even after the mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions is literally like shuffling everything up. So, how we are going to make sure the already sold products are given the equal importance for the products even after products which we are selling after the mergers and acquisitions. The company A merges with company B. The customer should feel confident still with the new brand. So that is how it's going to make the marketing and customer aspects validation a successful one. And going ahead, so this is organizational and market dynamics. So we need to combine systems, technology, and supply chain smoothly. We need to avoid disruption in daily operations. Let's see. Simply, if you are a relative going for another relative's home, you are a person going to a friend's place or a relative's place. You can't keep one item in a same place when you need to follow their procedure. You can't keep it in your comfortable area. So this is their area. So if it is in the normal day-to-day affairs, how it is whole merger and acquisition, whole brand shuffling is going to affect. So that is going to be one of the issue, and we need to get ahead with. And taxation and accounting aspects. So how the taxations are done. So income tax, central GST, state GST, and we need to pay octroi duty in sense of we are having people with us. And let's assume we are giving corporate taxes, especially there, and some more advantages were given for the companies which is established in a place which is given by the government, which is any technology center in sense of Bangalore, Bagamane Tech Park. If it is Chennai, there are the business zone area. So in that area, if there are companies were given a certain set of concession for first 5. Let's assume the mergers and acquisitions are happening in the midway, between 2 to 3 years. What will happen to that concession? The concession by income tax authorities is given in their profit until 5 years, and for next 10 years they don't want to pay the whole tax, but they can pay up to 10% of their income tax. So what will happen to that kind of stuff? So we need to check all these taxation and accounting aspects, and this is one of the things which is being a great concern ahead. And more than this, we are having some other discussions to happen. Due diligence and complaints requirements. So due diligence involves legal and financial audits to identify risk, obligation, compliances, and all. So let's assume both were public limited company, SEBI, Competition Commission of India, to reduce the monopoly in the market, the Companies Act. So all of those regulations are there in company. So public limited company is different from a private limited company. I hope you all being aware of this fact. The regulations are itself different. The shares transaction between a private limited company and a public limited company itself different. So in that sense, how the regulations are going to become, what is the legitimate way and what is the transparent way, and what are all mandatory things that we need to take care. So these are due diligence. It's not just on the main things, but it's part of compliance requirement. And these are the foundations to mitigate risks and facilitate the further approval of mergers. Let's assume me myself, I'm ready to merge. I'm ready to buy a new company or merge with a new company, and we both are ready to do the business ahead. Before that, we will do the background check. Like we all used to hear. The HRs usually ask, share your all the documents. You need to have the background check process. And whenever we are buying a certain asset, it's like literally we used to check the reviews, the previous reviews of the product. Even if you are ordering a certain small item, there will be reviews. We will check. If you are going to a hotel, we will check the review. We will see if the reviews were bad, we will think it is not a good place to go, and we are not there to. When it is up to shuffling our whole company and it's shuffling everything what we had, what we have built. So those things are to be taken care in this phase. So here I'm just giving a break. Is there are any questions or queries I would like to hear? And then we can move ahead with the case analysis, some discussions, and some aspects of companies emerging, and questions ahead with the people who are being here in the meeting. So my part will be up to 15 to 20 minutes from here. Please bear the delay if it is getting delayed. Please let me know if there are any questions over here so we can make this session a little bit interactive. And please feel free to type it here than saying in the meeting, because it's not sure that everybody will be having the same bandwidth of us. So there are chances that it could disrupt in the middle. I'll just give you a minute break, then we can proceed.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Mr. Gunn. Yes.
I have got one question. Is there any criteria, pre-criteria laid down for merging a company? A company is very profit earning, and a company is not very profit earning, and we want to acquire it. Is there any legal criteria whether we can acquire, not acquire? Like
it's not how we can say that it's not
binding.
Yes, it's not really binding, but we could say there are criteria to check whether the companies could be acquired or merged or whatever. First, you need to decide whether it's getting merged or acquired. Is that getting merged or acquired, or what, Mr. Ganshan?
Whether a product is different, even then it can be merged or acquired. Product
can
is
be
altogether
merged.
different, because I was working in HL. HL has merged with BML, Bharat Earth Movers. Earth Movers are different than aircraft. HL is manufacturing aircraft, fighter aircraft, other aircraft, and they were manufacturing earth mover. But both are merged, BML and HL. So it's not a hard and fast rule that products are different, then you can't merge. It can be merged.
It can be merged. It's not a hard and fast rule, but the both. At least there should be some things which is collaborating in the middle. It should not be totally opposite, but still both being the technical companies, both being the companies having the core engineering as the base. They can. It's not mandatory that the companies, the final outcome. I mean, the final base should be the same. Rather than it could be the merger because of the talent. It could be the merger because of the administration point of view. Because the administration are similar. The suppliers for both the companies are similar for the components, or the process where could be similar. So those could be the reason. It's not always on the market side, market and merger or acquisition. Rather than it could be the back end side. So one being the administration purpose, one being having the contract related stuff, one to increase the focus. So let's have an example here in this. Let's go ahead with your technical core engineering part. You are from a company which is producing aircraft. Some components were with them, no? So the engineers who are working with that, so even the robotic engineers or whoever, they can also work here. Some niche roles can be filled easily. If not that, they can fill here. So those also become a main aspect for merger, not necessarily being the customer base. So let's assume a sweet stall could be acquired by a hotel. End of the day, the people who are going to cook, they will both know both. No, some things will be there for sure. So you are planning for, if anybody here are planning for any merger or acquisition, it's not going to be totally the market aspect, but rather than the aspects which are behind. So it could be the aspects of administration, it could be the aspects of knowledge, it could be aspects of intellectual property. I can say I have some design with me, but I'm not in the position to produce. But still, I'm sure that this product will hit the market. So I can have the people who are ready to, I can have merge with the company or acquire with the company who is little bit lower or equal to me, and I can collaborate with them, and we both can launch a new product. So the future aspect that can also be one of the main reasons.
Recently, insurance company has acquired IDBI bank.
Yeah.
Insurance company has a lot of funds, but IDBI was not having the funds, etc. So acquired IDBI. That may be a reason of funds also.
So those can also be one of the reasons, not being the main reason, but one of the reasons. They want to increase the base. Now it's a customer focused part.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody else? Or else we can proceed ahead. Oh, we can proceed ahead. So now we have seen the various aspects which can be considered. So these are all the aspects, the questions we have discussed right now, which is financial aspects. There are many aspects: financial aspects, legal aspects, strategic aspects, marketing aspects, human resources aspects, customer aspects, operational and technical aspects, due diligence like reputation, history and all, taxation and financial aspects like we have discussed here in the Q&A session. These are all the various different aspects that a company can plan a merger or acquisition based on the needs of both this. Now the case analysis, the major MLA frameworks, legal frameworks which we have seen in India. I assume people here all are being Indians, so it could make a little more sense. The merger of the banks, HDFC Bank and the bank merger, the huge bank merger after that Vijay Malaya case, every bank are to increase the bandwidth. SBI, subsidiary SBIs are acquired by the main SBI companies. SBI was Hyderabad was there, SBI of Thiruvangur was there, and it's all acquired by State Bank of India, and it made right now the State Bank of India being the world's third largest company, third largest bank, which is having a second largest capital here in India also. The after Reserve Bank, SBI being the bank of the biggest bank here in whole India. Before the merger between State Bank of Thiruvankur, State Bank of Calicut, State Bank of Hyderabad, it was smaller divisions. It was felt like a smaller division because the customer base was satisfied. And now after the merger, SBI being the one biggest bank in India.
खाने के टेस्ट के हिसाब से वापस आएगी। हम कहते हैं वही रेसिपी जाने देते हैं, हम उस पे ज्यादा टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करते। हम अपनी स्ट्रेटजी बनाएंगे मार्केटिंग की कि हमारे यहाँ से जो चीज बनी है उसको बेचना है, कि शायद वही मेक और ब्रेक वाला ठीक हो जाए जब दोनों टीम आमने सामने खड़ी होगी।
Excuse me. Dr. Rekha? Okay. No. So the merger of HDFC Limited and HDFC Bank. So both are being different. Limited is a limited company, a public limited company, and HDFC Bank is more focused into a banking sector, which exemplifies the complexity of legal compliances and regulatory coordination, and the adherence to SEBI and Competition Commission of India protocols were a little bit dynamic in nature. So these were some examples. Both the companies were separate according to Banking Regulation Act. A banking company should have the banking as the business. It can't indulge into a other business other than bank. So when these both companies are acquired, HDFC Limited is having the customer base, the insurance were there. They were supporting medical insurance, which is similar to banking, but not banking asset. It was having other financial aspects. It's like a non-banking financial company, and HDFC Bank being the full-fledged bank. So those kind of regulations has shown us the dynamic nature of mergers and acquisitions. Even though they both are different, even though the complaints were different, both the HDFC Limited and HDFC Bank made sure that it won't break any rules and regulations of SEBI or RBI. So the merger was technically successful. So one more point is technical integration and cyber security challenges, which was not listed before. I have listed it separate for its nature. So the technical integration focuses the system alignment, the platform alignment, data migration and all. So how the company is going to work on the data which it's having in their hand. So the data is dynamic, as we all know. The suppliers are more, the intellectual property are different. In that sense, how we are going to use the platform. Let's assume I being from one company, I can use Microsoft Teams, and one more company, it can use Slack for the conversation. How they can use, how they can manage those system alignment. Let's assume from Slack, I was integrating it through another Calendly, and I was having Gmeet. And now the new company prefers Zoom. So how it's going to work? How we are going to align the system, how we are going to align the integration and the cyber security part. So if people are into cyber security and governance, they will know the sensitivity of the information. Every personally identified information are serious matter. We can't just give it as it. So let's assume an employee more than 25 years. The salaries are not usually easily discussed with anybody else. It's being one of the secrets after this 1991 LPG reforms. So after MNCs, more and more MNCs here in the country, because of the more MNC company, more dynamic structure of how people are getting paid. So now just salary slip is being a sensitive information, and we are not ready to share what we are earning to us. In that sense, it's not easier for us to share what is the salary details for a new company which is coming with us, just because they are merging with us, or just because our company is getting acquired by another company. It was not mandatory that we should accept all personally identified information with the new company. Maybe the terms and conditions are different. My company has made sure that these details are not shared with anybody else, right? And the new company will say they will take one signature with you in contract. They will say you need to pay for. I mean, we can change the conditions of a contract anytime because you are signing a new offer. So how that is going? The cyber security and access information. Let's assume we will having a customer base of 10,000 for our safe itself. Like one member here said, the sir said the company was producing the aircrafts, and let's assume it is getting merged with Air India. So the Air India information are more sensitive. The customer details, the bank details, credit card details, debit card details are sensitive information. How we can believe the another company just because they are producing there? Or we can take either side. A HAL and another company is getting merged, and it is producing the fighter jets, Tejas and all. So that is those are all the products which have the blueprint, the national security blueprint. Just because we are buying one more company, just because we are acquiring, it is accessible for everybody now. So it is in the space. So it should not be revealed, and how it is going further ahead when these sensitive information are leaked. So these are all the main challenges in cyber security, especially in technical integration between being merger or acquisition. Just because of being merged or acquired, many sensitive information, the blueprints of national security, or the financial information of the largest customer base, how it's going to be considered. Those kind of things are being the great challenge. So Wipro's acquisition of Capco has shown the seamless cloud integration, and it has shown us the need for the integration actually, and what are all the measures we can take to safeguard our assets here in the sense the intellectual property and the other detail, right? Yes. And ahead, I have listed some questions from our participants side here when it is one-to-one conversation in chat. So these are all the answers. Does a merger always mean one company is failing? Not always. It's not mandatory that one company should be in loss to acquire, and mergers can happen to grow together, reduce competition, or expand the market share like Idea Vodafone has taken. Sometimes both the companies are financially healthy, but to join, they become stronger, which is like An Academy and Akash Class. They both are healthy. They both were having a good customer base, which is believing, and they are reoccurring, and this is one of the examples. Only in some cases weaker company gets merged, which is State Bank example. State Bank of India getting State Bank of India acquired State Bank of True. So it's one of the example. So this is because to make sure strong one helping the smaller one to survive. And can customers see any change when company is merging, like prices of service? Yes, of course. Sometimes brand names, pricing, and product and quantity will change. And greater example being the Idea Vodafone again to take. The brand name before it was just Idea, it's just Vodafone. The Hutch dog will come. So when it's up to the brand integration, before they were focusing that pug dog in their advertisement, when it is Hutch, then it has changed as Vodafone. The total brand name has changed and pricing is changed. Before that, we can just recharge it for 50 rupees and we can keep it until we speak. So we used to give missed calls. And now these days it's unlimited. We need to pay 500 per month. Even if we don't use it, will go. And the quality, we will say it was good in older times and it was not good. Airtel is not giving good service. Jio is good. Jio is not good in city. In towns, it is good. Those kind of discussions. So there will be changes slightly. Some mergers improve services. Some will disrupt the services. Some poorly managed mergers can issue temporary confusion and delays among the customer. When it is Idea Vodafone merger, some people are having Idea SIM card, some people are having Vodafone SIM card, and they were insisting us to buy a new SIM card. Renew the SIM card with the same number. So we used to have all the contact details in our old SIM card. We need to take everything. Just because of company is getting merged, we need to take another SIM card. We need to change all our contact details. So those kind of stuff. So those are some of the examples. And how do companies decide the valuation of the target firm during mergers and acquisitions? So this is financial aspect. The valuation methods are discounted cash flow. It's one of the method where we can say, see, our products and services are up to 10 crore. If you give 7 crores, I'll give the company because I'm not able to manage. It's like literally giving the less value just because we are in a hurry. It's like selling a home. We could say, we have a car owner. The car is so good. We just bought 1 year ago. The car valuation is 7 lakhs. We paid in cash and we bought. We are in hurry. We need to have a money. So I'm giving it for 4 lakhs now. If you give it in ready cash, I'll give you. I'm ready to forgo 3 lakhs. So those kind of things is called discounted cash flow. It's like how we value the product. And the comparable company analysis, again for an car example, we can say, why I want to give you the 4 lakhs rupees when I can get a new one for 5.5 lakhs. I can put it in a EMI. Why I want to give you the one whole cash of 4 lakhs. So in that scenario, they will say precedent transactions. He will say, see, I did all, I'm giving you the transaction. It's not, when you get a car in a new car, you want to get the registration, you want to get all of this. I've did service, I've spent this, I've added these are extra. Before buying it was just a car, and see now I've added these kind of amenities. The seat was good. I've changed the seat from sponge seat to cushion seat. We can see something, no? I'm just giving us an example. So these are precedent transactions. We will value the company based on the value addition in precedent transaction, and we will compare with another company why this to that. And the first one being the simple one. This is the market value I'm giving you for this. So these are the 3 financial valuation methods, and facts considered here are assets, profits, liabilities, growth potential, market position. So let's say the company is having these much of liabilities. More liabilities, less the asset, which means the company is having less market growth potential. More profits, more assets, less liabilities, in the sense the company is having very good growth potential. If I buy the company for myself, if I can merge, if I can acquire the company, it will take me to the next level. Of course, the corporates or companies which is merged or acquired, it's for a profit motive, some kind of profit. So these are all the financial aspects while we are doing the valuation of the target. So we'll evaluate the assets, liabilities, profits, the potential, future market position, everything. So there are separate people who used to conduct these analysis, who are called as investment bankers and independent valuers. So the companies used to invite them, and these kind of discussions are done, the contract was made, and it's a big process. And how is the success of a merger and acquisition is measured financially or strategically, or in a what way? So success of a merger and acquisition is both financial, strategical, people, everything. So we can't just say the company is earning more, it's good. While the people who are working there are not really happy about it. So it's also with the success of people, it's also with the success of revenue, it's also with the success of strategy, which is market expansion, innovation, new brand presence, etc. So it's not immediately measurable, but it's over a period of. So the one big one which we heard, if you follow the news, so Z Entertainment and Sony merger, or we can also say Hotstar and Jio merger. One of the things which is notable, even the total brand design, the design of the app, UI, UX of the app, everything got merged. So you are already having, let's assume you are having an Amazon OTT platform paid, and you are having a Netflix. You can imagine you are already paid for both, and now it's merged. It's saying you are going to charge for one. So you have already paid. So what's the status of yours? As a customer who paid for both, when they are merging, you can't take it out. You can just say, I paid for both. Why they are merging? So see it's the madness. I paid both. So those kind of things happen. These kind of things will be considered from the company point of view, how to manage these kind of customer issues. And they will say, no, people who have having two subscription, we will give it 1 more year for free. Then you are happy. Oh, chalo, they cream like that. See, for God's sake, if I want to pay for Netflix, I need to pay for 1,500 for one certain period of time. Just because I paid Amazon OTT 500 rupees. Now I can have Netflix for 1 more year. Chalo, kush ho gaya. That, and we are in the end of the session. Overall, the mergers and acquisitions drive growth, innovation, and require the meticulous integration of cost, legal, human resources, and technical domains, which we have discussed before. The compatibility, the transparent communication are vital to resolve challenges. If it is not transparent, if there is one small case, let's assume one small case on bribery in the company which is acquired, or one small issue which is there, some license issue was there. So it will affect the mergers and acquisitions. So transparency is must. And effective coordination in these areas, especially both the departments in both the companies, legal company, legal to legal, human resource to human resource, marketing to marketing, technical people to technical people, they need to work and collaborate during the mergers and acquisitions. So these effective coordinations in these areas will improve the mergers and acquisitions effectiveness and lead to a value creation and strengthen corporate positioning in the market. And thank you so much for everybody who are being here, and a great audience. Thank you so much. And this is the end of the presentation from my side. If there is any questions or queries, you can just post it in the chat box. I'll be glad to answer that, if any.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this insightful and engaging session on a complex but fascinating topic. How you explained that merger and acquisitions aren't just about companies coming together, but are also about handling many aspects like finance, legal, HR, and marketing. Also highlighted how proper planning, communication, and cultural alignment are key for success. The example she shared really helped us understand how company manages these changes effectively. On behalf of SEMS Welfare Foundation, I extend our heartfelt thanks to our speaker and everyone who joined us this evening. Let's keep learning, collaborating, and contributing to a dynamic and empowered business world. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening ahead.